feel I should do a special introduction, but I've not got one at the top of my head, so you don't try to force things if they're not coming naturally, as we say. Mobility Overhaul 100, the 100 hour of you and me, the other way around, you and me doing this stuff together, making you better. So hopefully if you've been following along for all 100 hours, you're feeling some form of benefit. If you're not, what the hell have you been doing all this time? Get your foam roller. Today it's a continuation of number 99. So on 99, we spent most of the time on the lower body, going into the hips. Today, we're just basically continuing, like I say, where we left off. So we're going to be starting around the hips, but upwards of them, into the lower back. We're going to be getting our foam roller, and we're going to be lying on it. Now, we're smashing the obliques here. Most of us know where the obliques are, okay, from all our kind of ab classes that we do. Where obliques are here, the side of our core. So what we need to be doing, and this is where it feels rather uncomfortable sometimes, we want to be getting this foam roller in the gap between the top of your pelvis and the bottom of your rib cage. So that hollow cavity, okay, where all your organs are exposed, boom, that's where I want to be. I'm lying on there. Now, feels different because usually when we're foam rolling, you've got the bone, you're crushing it into the bone. We don't have bone here, okay, so you're just pushing all this weight into the foam roller, in to your abdomen, and all I want you to do is just start rolling side to side and get to know the area. For most of us, this foam roller is going to take up that entire gap, okay? So you're not really going to have much room. What I mean by that is you're not going to have much room to go up and down, but go up and down if you have got that little bit of room to go up and down. Now, you don't obviously want to be rolling onto the rib cage. If you do so, you'll feel it. It'll feel disgusting. You won't do it. You simply won't do it. And you'll go down and you'll hit the pelvis, okay? So that's the area I want to be working between. For most of us, you'll maybe get a wee wiggle up and down whilst they're scrubbing, but for the majority, I want you to be rolling side to side, putting as much weight into this as you can. So first of all, you'll probably find you're supporting a bit of weight with this arm. That's fine. As you start to get a bit more comfortable with it, move that arm away so that all the weight is pushing down onto that foam roller. And I want you to roll back, roll back. How far do you roll back? As far back as you can, not onto the spine, okay? So most people will feel it more as you start to go back into the lower back. We're rolling forward towards the belly button here, okay? Now, if you have just had your breakfast, that was a bad move. You'll probably feel it all getting pushed around here and getting squidged about. That's a joke. I'm not going to say it. Need to get a bit more professional, don't we? No, we don't. Side to side, smash the muscle group here, okay? We need to put a good bit of weight on this. We really need to be crushing it. It's going to be the usual 2 minutes per side, and we're nearly there already. So get into it, okay? Don't mess about. Push down. Scrub and crush that muscle tissue in to the foam roller. Now the obliques, like I say, is a bit of a weird one. But our obliques get pretty damn tight, knotted up. And what's just if we keep going round, what's our obliques tying into? What area? Well, lower back. Okay, I just answered that. No point asking a question and then answering it for you, but I did. Okay. So we're getting into the lower back. So if we've got a lot of tightness in these obliques or a lot of tightness in the lower back, by working on these obliques, we're going to feed some slack, like we talk about, into the lower back. So a lot of people will just target the lower back specifically if it's tight, but we don't want to do that. Okay, so we've smashed one side, we're going to go into the other. Straight into it, everybody. Get on it. Find the area. As always, rather than rolling around, okay, rather than rolling around like a crazy person, get that foam roller with the other hand and move it around to save you wriggling around your living room floor. And all I'm going to do is start just finding the area in general. Roll side to side just to make sure the foam roller's in the right spot. Just like anything, you're looking for any hot spots, any areas at high pain. And you're just trying to crush it and get straight into it. As soon as you feel you're on the area, try and move that arm away so we're getting a lot of weight down. Completely relax that muscle tissue and roll into the foam roller, and we're working against the grain here. Working against the grain, side to side, crushing the hell out of it. Good work. And you're looking for the areas specific to you that are feeling like they need a bit of work. Always a good one to do. Always one that feels a bit odd for those who haven't done it before. But it's muscle tissue just like any other. And we're going to help restore a bit of movement to the hips and a bit of slack into that lower back. Last few minutes, keep going for it. Keep crushing it. Think about the teeth on that foam roller. If your foam roller's got teeth, get those teeth into it. Just try and scrub, okay? Pin the muscle tissue and scrub. It's no different to any other muscle group. Good, and relax there. Good work, everybody. So we're working above the pelvis for this first part of the class. What you're going to need now is a chair or a bench, a raised platform. If you're at home, a sofa will do fine. Maybe you've got a coffee table roughly about the same height as this. For those who are familiar, which I'm sure there many are by now, we're doing the lower back. So if you want to get straight into it with the ball, go for it now, okay? It's the one where we're raising my feet up on the platform. The area that we're targeting here is your lower back. If you're not sure, you can see exactly what I'm going to show you now. Lower back, okay? You'll feel it. When you lie on this ball, you'll be able to feel all the little landmarks I'm telling you about. We want to be getting just above the pelvis, just off to the side of the spine, on those thick rope-like muscles that are running up your spine. Okay, we want to be getting into them, and I want you to smash the hell out of them. You can go as high up as you want towards the mid-lower back, okay, and you can go as wide as you want. You can take it all the way out to the side of your hip. Wherever you're feeling any tissue, feeling restricted, painful, that's what I want you to focus on. So I'm showing you the general area. Do not roll onto your spine and start rolling your spine. I'd like to think that's common sense by now, but that's the area we're after. Everybody's different, but those thick rope-like muscles that are running up either side of your spine and your lower back, the ones that you probably feel are the ones that you pull out if you ever pull your lower back. Spend a bit of time on them. Scrub them, because they're going to be thick, they're going to be dense, and you might find that they're just jammed up that tight that on first appearance, when you lie on them and start scrubbing, they feel all right. But it's only when you start scrubbing, they start relaxing, and you start getting in deeper that you realise, oh my word, they're not all right. Now I'm lying on my ball. Get your hand underneath and move the ball around to find the right area, okay? You'll feel the pelvis when you hit the bone. We don't want to be on the bone, we don't want to be on the spine, we want to be on muscle tissue. And you're just looking for areas of high pain, high painful areas. Muscle tissue that feels like it needs a lot of work done to it. That's what we're focusing our time on here. We'll adjust, we'll maybe go more for 3 to 4 minutes per side, because this is an area for a lot of people that needs a good bit of work. So get stuck in, don't waste a second. The reason I've got my feet raised, or my legs raised, should I say, is it's going to help put more weight down onto that ball, but also it's going to help prevent me from massively overextending my lower back. Do not lie on your ball and allow your lower back to start curving up the way. So don't allow this curve. I'm obviously exaggerating it, but the curve of your spine, don't let that happen. So as you're lying here and you poke yourself in the stomach, you should feel, as you lightly poke yourself in the stomach, should I say, you should feel your core muscles are ever so slightly engaged to stop this happening, basically. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't want that spine to be facing up the way. So go for it. You find those areas that feel tight, smash that tissue. You can play around with your leg position here, everybody. So I'm on my right side, so I can lift that right leg up, and that's going to put a lot more weight on. I can pump that knee back and forward to help just try and break the tissue up more. I want you to play around with it any way you can. But by moving your leg around, you will be able to load that ball up with more weight if you're able to handle it. Scrub the hell out of it. Work up those thick QL muscles running up either side of your spine, the rope-like ones I'm telling you about, or work outwards towards the pelvis. You're just looking for an area of restricted muscle tissue, and I want you to smash the hell out of it. When I say it, I mean it. Smash the hell out of it, put as much weight on there as you can, and be careful. Be careful of that lower back, that you're not overextending it. Apart from that, you can't really go wrong. If you're starting to work towards the outside of the pelvis, you're going to have to start leaning to the side, as I'm showing you here, just in case anybody's wondering. I'm just kind of starting to tilt myself across this way so that I'm getting more weight on the outside of my pelvis, okay? Because otherwise, you're not going to get it. You're going to end up losing it. But that's only if you're going that way. Pin that area, push it hard into the ball, scrub the hell out of it. You can move the leg around. Oh, that's one thing I did not miss. That's the first I've heard that. Something buzzing around in here. You forget the things that come with the nice warm weather. bloody beasts coming in here. And then it's the ants. It's always the ants. Every time the weather turns here, the ants just come up out everywhere. The joys. Anyway, mobility overhaul 100, let's get back on topic. Right, we're going to change sides. If you need a quick breather, by all means do so, but it's a simple case of get the ball, put it to the other side, get on it, and start, get to work, you know what you're doing. Look for those areas that need work within the lower back, and I would encourage everybody just to spend a wee bit of time on those thick ropey muscles running up either side of your spine. Scrub them, put more weight on them, keep scrubbing them, and just be sure that you're actually getting into them properly and they're not just that tensed up and tight that the ball's just popping around over them. That's what I mean by it'll take a wee bit of work just to help get stuck into them and make sure you're not overextending that lower back. As always, the more weight you can get on that ball, the better while you're scrubbing, so play around with the position of your leg. Don't concern yourself with the areas that are comfortable or all right. Concern yourself with the areas that are feeling pretty horrible. And just try and go for it, everybody. So we'll be spending a good bit of time smashing out the muscle tissue in this class. Not a hell of a lot of stretching. Can't do it all, but there will be a few in there, a few stretches in there, working on key areas. But from Mobility 99 and Mobility 100, the two classes together, we're just trying to break up the whole body into two classes of you trying to do the best you can on each area within 2 minutes, 3 minutes or 4 minutes, depending on what I'm giving you. Right, relax there. Good work, everybody. So an area that often needs a lot of work, but remember, don't overlook the other areas around it. If you're constantly feeling tightness in your lower back, let's say you do this, what we've just done right now, smash the lower back, it seems to alleviate a bit of the tightness, but then the tightness comes back again. There's obviously a bigger problem there, isn't there? So I would encourage you to start working around on the different tissue, your glutes into the high glutes, into the lower back, the obliques, okay? If you smash out those areas, you'll probably find your lower back starts to free up a lot quicker and for a lot longer than if you're just smashing the lower back. Right, let's move on. You can move the benches, whatever the hell you've brought out, move it out of the way. And we're going to go for a nice simple stretch here, okay? This is where you're probably better with a wee bit of a mat because you will be exposing the spine. In fact, I encourage you to get a mat because we'll be curving myself up and tucking these knees in, okay? So if you're on a hard floor, your spine will be exposed and you'll end up rolling off to the side. We don't want that, okay? So make sure your spine's nice and neutral. All I'm going to be doing here is not pulling my knees. I want you to bear hug your knees. I just saw someone do it on live, okay? I won't point you out, but yep, yes, oh yes you, okay? It's dangerous, okay? If you've got a lot of tightness in here, okay, and you go like this, I'm going to show you now, because some people are going to do it, and I see people do it all the time. I'm not telling you off, although I am. It's for your own good. You'll be used to it the other way. We're going to be, make sure when you do this that you don't just go like this, bang, whack, boom, okay? Because as soon as you roll down with those knees grabbed, if it's tight, you are going to hurt yourself. You're potentially going to start pulling something out. So we're trying to bear hug the knees, bear hug them, pull them towards, and then gently try and roll onto your upper back. Please don't just grab, pull, whack, and start going boom, because you're putting tremendous strain on there if things are tight, okay? So reach up, bear hug, lock the bear hug off by grabbing a hold of your wrist. You're gonna need a good hold of your wrist. Pull the knees and then fall back onto your upper back. And then all I'm trying to do here is pull my knees towards my chest, find a relaxed state first and foremost, because you might find if things are tight, you're fighting this, you're fighting it big time. Once you've found a decent position and you feel like you're in the zone and you can relax, think about your tailbone here. Okay, I want you to think about your lower back, which is probably curving up. Yep, it should be, because that's what we're trying to do. But I want you to imagine, as you relax, that your tailbone is slowly starting to lower towards the ground, okay? And that's to encourage you to help relax your lower back here, okay? Relax the lower back. Because a lot of us, if we're pretty damn tight and you're pulling these knees up hard towards you, you're going to be tense, okay? You'll be fighting it, and we don't want that. So try to find that relaxed state. Just let the tailbone relax down while you're pulling those knees towards you. So we're lengthening out that lower back. And again, a lot of us end up with a lot of tight tissue around there, and therefore the lower back. The lower back should be able to go into what we call flexion here. See how we can feel your lower back curving? We should be able to do that, but a lot of us end up with a lot of tack down tissue, and we lose the ability to do that, especially when we're sat down, especially. I'm always telling when you're sat in a seat, try and sit on the backrest and slide down so that your spine, your butt's right in the wedge of the seat and you're not sitting slumped down. That's one of the worst things we can be doing for the lower back, is sitting with the butt forward of the seat rest and then sitting almost on the tailbone. Good. I want you to slowly relax. As you come out of this, I want you to plant the feet for a glute bridge up, and then really emphasize the glute bridge. I want you to get your shoulder blades, squeeze them together, push up as hard as you can, and I want you to stretch and lengthen out these hip flexors, okay? Because they were restricted there, they're probably going to feel pretty uncomfortable. So let the blood flow back into them, stretch them out. It's the most exaggerated glute bridge you've ever done, okay? So don't worry about getting that spine into overextension now. It's kind of what we're trying to do. I'm trying to lift as much of my body up towards the ground as if there's a rope tied around my pelvis, but my feet and my upper body are glued to the floor, and relax out of that shake out, okay? I'm going to show you a quick mobility drill. We're not doing it this morning because there's no point, okay? But it's a good one to tie into your day or before you do a workout, okay? Before you do a workout, if you're feeling your lower back's pretty restricted, get your arms out to the side, get your feet together, knees together, get the feet as close to the bum as you can, point the toes up, try to maintain this. Pull the knees together, feet pointing up as you then rotate side to side. Slowly, to begin with. It's important that you keep your knees together. Now, those of you who are pretty damn tight and lacking mobility and range, you'll find you maybe get to about here, you can't go any further, and this is where most people make the most common mistake. They start to let their feet come apart in an effort so that they can touch the ground. I've lost the stretch there, there's no point, okay? It's more beneficial to take it to that point, I can't go any further, and get a hell of a good stretch and try to increase it each time than just to go like this, okay? Because again, there's no stretch there. So that's a good one for mobilizing the lower back, the obliques, basically everything we've just smashed this morning before you do a workout, or any time of the day. It's a good one to do if you find yourself feeling pretty seized up. Right, moving on. We're going to move to the very top of our upper back. We're going to hit the traps, the trapezius muscles, and we're going to do what's called our trap scrub. Again, most of these have probably heard this one by now, but I'm going to show you where we're going to go. Once again, we'll be lying on the floor. I'm going to show you now, because once I'm lying down, you've got no idea where the ball's going to be. I'm going to be working on my trapezius muscles, which sweep around, sweep over the shoulder girdle here. They sweep down into my back, almost like a diamond, and they sweep all the way out to where my shoulders are, okay? They're responsible for lifting the shoulders and pulling the shoulder blades back. Okay, so if we get a lot of tightness, a lot of restriction in that area, that's what's going to affect our posture as well, but also keeping things held together and form during exercise, etc. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be working on the upper traps. So as I grab this area here, pretty much where you can see my fingers, going from here all the way out to the shoulder, that's the area we're going to be targeting here. Okay, and I say it every time, the good old classic, someone giving you someone giving you a massage on the back of the neck, okay, getting the thumbs in there. That's the kind of area we're going for here. Get the ball, lie down. All I want you to do is just start scrubbing it. It's a trap scrub, so we're going straight into the scrubbing technique till you find a hot spot. And for most of us, you'll find plenty in there, okay? A lot of us walk around with a lot of tension in our shoulders. We carry all our daily stress and troubles in the shoulders. Half of the time we don't even realise it, that these muscles are just permanently turned on and overactivated. So what I want to be doing here is just trying to relax them, crush that ball into that area, and I'm pretty confident most people will find something to work on. Now, when you get there and you find that area of high pain or tied down muscle tissue, once again, pressure, force, push into that ball. Once you've got a decent bit, start scrubbing. What I encourage that you do is play around with the position of your arm as well, because you may just find with that arm straight above your head or going like I'm showing you now, it might just open it up a bit more across to the other side of your pelvis. Move your arm around, see if it helps. If you move your arm into a certain position and it feels like that ball is getting in a lot deeper to the muscle tissue, that's good, that's what we're after. Okay, so it's done off a feel, there's no point copying me. You find that area of high pain and you just get stuck in. We're going to be going for a good strict 2 minutes here, so we don't have time to fart about. Just trying to break that muscle tissue up. If you can, glute bridge a wee bit. Try and get as much weight down on that ball as you can, but only if you're able to keep the muscle tissue relaxed. There's no point loading it up, feeling a hell of a lot of pain, and not being able to stay in a relaxed state. Muscle tissue wise, that is. Go for it, everybody. Remember, areas of high pain. That's the areas we're concerning myself with here. Not the feel-good factor. The ones that make you feel, oh my word, that's horrendous. That's the kind of ones we're after. You might not have any, but like I say, in an area like this, I'm pretty confident most people have got plenty of knotted down muscle tissue, me included. Good. We're going to change sides again, so you can sit up if you want. How are we getting on with that on live? Okay, just so we know. Are we getting on okay? You're finding it? You know the area we're after? Good. It's pretty obvious, like I say, once you lie there, you're going to feel it. The area we're targeting is pretty dense muscle tissue, okay? But the good thing is, there's a good bit of bone there as well. We've got a rib cage right behind it, so that's why we can really get stuck into this area. Really crush it between the ball and the bone. You just try and sandwich it and scrub the hell out of it. So once again, for a lot of people, you'll find that entire area just feels like it's all knotted down. That's why I would say to you, get stuck into it. If you find you get tension headaches, the type of headaches where you just feel all the muscles going up your neck and into your temple area, just constantly feeling tensed up, that kind of headache, okay, we all get them. But a lot of the time, the fact that all the muscle tissue down here is not supple, that's where a lot of the time it can feed off of. And the front of the neck as well, okay? We've done a few neck mobility classes. Don't forget the front of the neck. There's plenty of muscles there, and a lot of the time they become pretty damn tight and can feed up and end up pulling on that head, making you feel like you've got a hell of a tension headache. Sure thing. Pop a couple paracetamol by all means, but if you're getting them regular, that's what I'd recommend you get stuck into this area, because most of us, like I say, carry a lot of stress and strain in these shoulders. We end up all tense and uptight, and most of the time we don't even realise that these big muscles end up activated constantly, and as a result we end up getting a lot of knotted, damaged scar tissue that we just need to try and break up, which is what we're doing now. So it might be an eye-opener to you. For a lot of us, we don't walk around feeling the painful spots that we're pressing on just now until we start pressing on them. But if they're there, they're probably causing you problems, or they will cause you problems. Good. So once again, you can use the foam roller for this area, like we done when we finished off with Mobility 99, when we've done more thoracic spine smash with the big foam roller. But yes, you'll cover a bigger surface area, which is good maybe if you're doing a warm-up or something. But when we're doing this sort of stuff, there's no substitute for the ball, okay? And I'm sure you realise that, relax there. There's no substitute for the ball. It's just going to get into places that foam roller can't. It can get in, especially on this next one. Okay, we're going to be moving down now onto the scapula, the shoulder blades. Now, I want you to imagine you're trying to get in. Everybody happy with the shoulder blade, okay? It's these muscles that should be sitting flush. When you sit with good posture, those shoulder blades, those scapular muscles, if you're not sure, have a look, type it in, look at them on a skeleton. They should be sitting flush with the spine, okay? They should be sitting flush with the spine, but a lot of us end up with rounded shoulders. You feel them poking out, okay? And that's not what we're after. What I want you to imagine is, we're trying to get the ball. We've got the scapula in at the rib cage. I want you to imagine we're trying to get the ball, which will be here, running down the inside of the scapula. I want you to imagine you're trying to get it in behind. Okay, that's what I really want to get into. Smash in behind those shoulder blades, and this is the area we're going to be targeting. So I want you to be targeting pretty much from about here. I don't know if you can see my shoulder blades through the t-shirt, but that's the kind of area we're going for. Again, it's all done off of feel. If you're working just off to the side of your spine, you'll hit the shoulder blades. You'll know exactly where we're talking about, okay? But what I want you to do, or you can probably see them because I can feel them poking out. If I move my arm around, okay, what happens here is if I've got that straight arm, I move it up, I move it across to the other side of my pelvis, I move my arm around, you're going to see those scapulas start to move around. And that's good, okay, because it's going to let us get into different areas of them, especially when we go across the hip. It's going to open up those shoulder blades and allow us to get real deep into them. So don't overcomplicate it. Get the ball, try to lie on it roughly, okay? Try and lie on it roughly where you need to be. Wriggle around until you're feeling like you're at the top of the shoulder blade. And like I say, you'll know where you're at the shoulder blade because you'll feel it. You're pushing this in, it's going to hit the ribs. And then as you roll, you're going to hit the shoulder blade, boom. There it is. So I start going, working my way down until I feel, and for most of us, you don't really have to move far. Probably even just lying on this ball, you're going to find knotted up tissue. Load it up with as much weight as you can. Start scrubbing, okay? Start scrubbing, focus on areas of high pain. Really get in to the nooks and crannies of those shoulder blades. And if you're able to see me now, I'm on an area that's pretty damn uncomfortable. I'm just trying to zone in to find exactly where ground zero is, the worst part. Yep, we're there. So now I've got that, I'm going to really push down into it. But again, look at the arm. Get the arm nice and straight. And then I'm simply pushing all my weight down into that ball. Keep the arm straight, move it across to the pelvis. That's the one you'll usually find opens up the shoulder blades. Lets you just get right in there when you're scrubbing. But then don't forget, move up. And also try moving it up. This is also a good one for really loading up the ball with a lot of weight, is just getting that arm above the head. And that's a good way for smashing and flossing here, okay? But remember, it's all about feel. So if it's not working for you, if it's not making it better, or a specific angle that you're holding your arm at is better, keep it there. All I'm trying to do is break up that muscle tissue by smashing it between the bone and the foam roller, the ball, as hard as I can, but while staying as relaxed as I possibly can. And with this area, everybody, it only really works, and I know it's horrible, you'll find a lot of blunt pain down this area, a lot of knotted up muscle tissue. I know it can be pretty uncomfortable, but this only works if you're getting a hell of a lot of force down on this ball. Okay, if you're just lying there and it's feeling moderately uncomfortable, it's not that you're wasting your time, but you're not going to be getting a lot out of it. You really have to go for it, and that's why I have to tell you, focus on your breathing. Try to accept the pain and discomfort that we expect, okay? We expect the pain and discomfort to be where the ball is. Anything ill feeling, obviously stop, that's common sense, but now, but really load up the weight, okay? Really load up on that ball. If you can, glute bridge the hips a bit off the ground, but only if you can. If it's that bad, then you won't be able to. But my point is, get stuck into it as best you can. And that's why sometimes actually going for a massage or getting someone else to do it, get their elbow stuck in there, is superior, because we can only inflict so much pain upon ourselves to a point in which we start to stop. It's quite difficult. But with this area especially, we really need to be going for it. Good. So it's such a large area to cover, pretty much the entire upper back, but we are focusing more solely around the shoulder blades. But what I'll say to you is, this is probably one that's worth doing in your own time, where you get to know the area more, because it's going to take a lot longer than the 3-4 minutes we're spending on each side right now to cover that area effectively. Because remember, rather than just smash around the entire area, I'm trying to make an improvement on that area of high pain. And we might have time to cover 1 or 2 areas of high pain, but we certainly don't have time to cover those entire side of the upper back. Right, everybody, take a breather there, because for most people that was pretty uncomfortable. Stand up, shake out, and then we're going to change sides. Right, we're on to the next side. Changing sides. So a pretty damn uncomfortable one for most people. That's why I'll give you a wee rest. Now remember, as soon as you lie in this ball, make the most of your time on it. Don't fanny about, don't fart about, don't look for a nice ooh-ah feeling. Good. You're going straight in, trying to zone in on those areas of high pain, and you must load that ball up with as much weight as you can handle, okay? As much as you can handle, and you can probably handle a lot more than you initially might think. Remember, we're not looking for relaxation here. This is not a nice chilled massage. This is mobility overhaul. And to overhaul us, we need to go for it, okay? We need to do a bit of suffering, unfortunately. But some of us might like it. Some of us might like the suffering. Go for it. Get it done. Move that arm around. Play around with the position. But it's all individual to you. Keep scrubbing it, keep smashing it, keep loading it up with as much weight as you can. We do end up, as you can feel, we end up with a lot of restricted muscle tissue in this upper back. That restriction is going to affect how we move. It's going to affect our posture. It's going to affect our strength and power output. And that's why I always refer to the mobility overhaul classes. Yes, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but what we're doing here is working on improving our body. And just simply imagine, for the motivator for me is, imagine you could be performing so much better. Much less chance of injury, but more than anything, performing better by unlocking what's already there. If you just keep going through the daily abuse and grind, and a lot of people do, without actually putting any work back into your body, you'll find you won't be doing it for very long, and then you'll get injured. As any of us know, when we can't do the one thing that we enjoy doing, the one thing that keeps us mentally grounded, we don't become so mentally grounded anymore. So there's a lot of motivators to do this. There's certainly plenty for me. But most of us are just wanting to see what the hell we can do with these bodies of ours. A lot of us break through those initial limits that we've believed in or we've set in ourselves for so long. And then and only then, when you start breaking through those initial limits, you realise that, oh, wait a minute now, where exactly does this bar lie? And in all honesty, if you keep searching, you keep pushing, you'll never find a limit. And that's the beauty of the human body. Sure, you might feel, sure that is technically you reaching a limit, but the body adapts, the body gets better. And if you keep working hard, keep trying to improve, those limits are just temporary. And this is all very much a huge part of the sequence. And that's not to say this alone, okay? We all find different things. There's all different ways of improving your mobility, flexibility, all different disciplines out there. Yoga, Pilates are probably only two I know, but there's hundreds of different things on the scene. But the way I look at this is just raw, basic mobility, stretches. Relax there, without any of the other stuff, okay? Without all the mindfulness and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You find what works for you, but I just like to get down to business, get the work done and get it dusted. Happy with that, okay? So we've spent a good bit of time scrubbing the back. We're not done, we are not done, we are not done, okay? So let's get ourselves going. We've spent a bit of time working from the lower back, mid-back into that thoracic spine. Now we're going to do a bit of mobility work on it, okay? So before you start, observe, our spine should be able to go into full flexion. It should be able to go into overextension. We don't really want that when we're doing certain exercises like, you know, loaded weight. If we're doing squats with a bar on our back, you don't want your back getting into flexion or overextension, okay? It's not solid there. We're going to open it up and we're going to hurt ourselves. But the point is, it should still be able to move freely from top to tail. Spine, okay, I don't know why I'm holding this imaginary spine, but it's like, you know, it would be going, whoo, like a wave, a wave. It should be able to do that. It should be able to function that way. Now, the problem starts to occur is when all these big muscle groups around it become restricted, then it can't do it anymore. It starts to lose the ability to do that, and that's why we're working on all these big muscle groups. So get yourself into all fours, and what we're going to do is just a little bit of spinal mobility, and where we are, we're going to be putting ourselves into overextension. So go for that now. All I'm doing, just simply trying to lift my chest up. Now, take it a good bit. Take it a good bit until you feel a good stretch. But with this one, it's not about trying to take it as far as you can, okay? Because you are going to end up, if you've got the strength to do so, you could do some damage if you really went for it. So, but we're taking it until you feel a good stretch, okay? So don't be shy about it. But the purpose here is not to try and break our back in half. So I don't want you going, yeah! And then I want you to go the other way now, into spinal flexion. Now, maybe it's good if you can see this one, but a lot of us with this, takes a wee bit of work in the brain to get this lower back to lift up. So I want this lower back to lift up. So you should feel your butt move forward if you do this properly. The problem is a lot of people just do this. Okay, they only move the thoracic spine. I want you to get that lower back as well. So I'm going to show you. That's me just doing the thoracic spine. This is me bringing the lower back into it as well. Okay, so you should feel like you're literally turning yourself into an N. A very informal N. But an N nonetheless, as in the letter N, just in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But with this one, I want you to take it as far as you can. So I want you to push those hands hard into the ground. I want you to try and get that thoracic spine, that mid-back to touch the ceiling. Feeling all those muscles in your spine, getting a good stretch out. But also upper back. Good, relax, back into overextension here. Now, I like this, especially for beginners, especially when it comes to lifting weights, because it's going to start switching you onto your spine, okay? As a beginner, if someone's really new to exercise or new to weights, it takes them a wee while to actually get what, it's not a correct term, but it's what I refer to as spinal awareness. To know when their back is in overextension, which it's in now, obviously big time overextension right now, or if we switch back into flexion, or when it's starting to go into spinal flexion. Okay, now when you're lifting, initially, weights, for example, I'll use weights because that's obviously an environment in which form, especially with the spine, is very important. When you first start, sometimes people have no clue as to what position their spine is in, and that's fine. Over time, you start to become aware when things are starting to drop out a wee bit, back into overextension, everybody. And now I just want you to do a 5-second pause, take it as far as you can, transition back. So just go back, forward, and just try and mobilise that spine. 5-second pause, take it further and back. Okay, but this is a good way for us to start to learn what position our spine is in. And then obviously I want you to return back to a nice neutral spine. Okay, so if we're on all fours, your core's slightly engaged, you should feel like almost a tabletop. Spine's nice and tight, ready to go. If someone was to stand on my back, it wouldn't even budge. Okay, if someone was to jump right now onto my back, it would not budge. It's solid, it's nice and neutral. Good, relax there, everybody. Right, stand up, shake out. Let's get turning onto these arms now. Okay, we've spent a wee bit of time on the upper back, into the lower back, in and around, upwards of the pelvis. Now we're going to get into the arms. So I want you to get the foam roller. We're going to smash out the triceps to begin with. Boom. Right above the elbow. For most people, once again, triceps is not one that we refer to very much. So you'll find it as just nastiness. Nastiness. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Right above the elbow. For most people, once again, triceps is not one that we refer to very much. So you'll find it as just nastiness. Nastiness. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nastiness. So I want you to start above the elbow and just begin rotating the arm side to side, just like any other muscle group. Side to side. For a lot of us close to that elbow joint, you're going to feel a lot of discomfort, a lot of tied up tissue. If you just lie on that and it's painful straight away, pin it, start scrubbing, which it is for me right now. That's horrendous. What we can do here, right above the joint, we can smash and floss simply by bending and straightening the arm. And don't forget to play around with the position of your hand as well. Everything can help. Good. Some dodgy bicep curls going on in the background there. Good. Good, smashing that muscle tissue. Good. Being proactive with it here. Side to side, side to side. Keep moving up the triceps, okay? Keep moving up, side to side. It does get a bit awkward trying to get to the right outside width of the outside of your arm, but do your best. And once again, rather than you slouching around the floor like a slug, get the arm and move that foam roller back, if that makes sense. So just get the arm on the foam roller and move it back to save you crawling along the floor and putting yourself into a strange position. Try to relax the rest of the body while we're smashing this muscle tissue out. Okay, now only be bending and straightening your arm if it's actually doing something. I feel a lot of people are doing it just because I was doing it there. You should feel it enhancing. If it's not, don't do it. But keep playing around with it. Keep smashing that muscle tissue side to side into the foam roller. Good work. Take it a wee bit further. 20 more seconds. Triceps get abused constantly. Doing all our pressing movements, body weight wise, more specifically, our press ups, we spend a lot of time on our triceps, burpees, etc. Things like that. Change arms, everybody. It's not an area a lot of us spend. Every time we do the triceps, I always say the same stuff. But we spend a lot of time on the legs. We spend a lot of time working those big muscle groups. We forget about the arms. It sounds ridiculous when I say it, but the arms are the legs of the upper body. We use them a hell of a lot, especially the triceps. And you'll probably realise when you're doing this that you don't spread enough love into these triceps because it's absolutely horrific. Good, which it is for me as well. But maybe you're suffering a wee bit of elbow pain, your elbows are tender. When you lie on these triceps, it feels absolutely horrific. Well, I would start smashing the hell out of the triceps and start smashing the hell out of your forearms as well. Restore a bit of suppleness to that muscle tissue, and you might just find that over time, that elbow pain starts to alleviate a bit. And realise that it will take time for these things to happen. A lot of people look for quick fixes. They expect that I've got elbow pain, I smash my triceps out and I've still got elbow pain. Keep smashing that muscle tissue out. You might take a lot of that pressure away from the elbow, but if there's damage in the elbow, it's going to take time to heal, okay? And that's why mobility needs to keep happening. Over time, things will get better, not instantly. Just in case anybody ever thinks that the pain should just disappear instantly. If there's damage there, it's going to take time to heal. It won't be able to heal if that muscle tissue around it is the source of the problem. Good. Last few seconds. Start thinking about finishing up there, everybody. Boom. Right. We're going to do the biceps. Biceps are an awkward one to do, okay? It's one of those ones that's quite hard to actually get on the foam roller, so you're going to have to maybe put yourself and figure it out yourself into a strange position. Biceps, small muscle group, okay, very small muscle group, but a lot of us like to put a lot of crazy amount of strain on it. If you do weights and you do a lot of dodgy bicep curls, okay, a lot of people put a hell of a lot of stress and demand on such a small muscle group, okay. We've never really done the biceps in a lot of these classes. If you do things like, I'm trying to think about things people will be doing, dead hangs, jumping pull-ups, rows, anything that you're bending this arm towards you, anything that you're pulling, the biceps will be working hard to work alongside the upper back muscles, okay? So for such a small muscle group, it gets a hell of a lot of abuse, and it's just one of those muscle groups that people always, you know, let me see your muscles, boom, biceps come out, don't they? Yes, they do. Yeah, there we go, right? So it's become one of those muscles, maybe not so much nowadays, but it was always one of those muscles that was, it was always the muscle people referred to. So with this, you're going to have to get your arm onto a strange kind of position. It's kind of like the triceps. It's exactly the same as the tricep smash you've done, but we need to get into a strange position. So I've got the biceps pointing down towards the ground, and then all I'm doing is just rubbing side to side, scrubbing side to side, working my way up. Working my way up, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us will find, oh dearie me, a lot of tightness, a lot of tender muscle tissue in there to be had. So take our time here. Roll the muscle tissue, side to side, full width, crush it into that foam roller. If you feel a bit of tenderness, stop, pause, push hard into it, and start scrubbing side to side. Again, it's pretty much done off of feel, but pretty good position we can get into here. A muscle group just like any other. One that we don't do very often, but one that gets abused. For a lot of people, gets abused a hell of a lot for such a small muscle group. Now, obviously we can't really bend and extend the arm here. You could if you were really creative, if you were, I don't know, if you went up to the roof of your house and done this with your arm hanging over the side, you could bend and stretch the arm. Don't recommend it, I know, a bit dodgy. But we can't really bend and stretch the arm in this position when we're on the biceps, but we don't really need to either. We could still get a lot of work done. We're working all the way up that arm until you hit what feels like the shoulder, okay, where those biceps start to sweep in. But probably a pretty nasty one for a lot of people. Why? Because most of us have never done it before. You know, that's what I mean. I want you to realise if there's muscle tissue there and we can access it, smash the hell out of it, okay? It doesn't need to be a muscle group you know. Doesn't need to be a specific area. Keep it simple. Good. We're going to change arms. Oof. How are you feeling with that one? Pretty. Oh, judging by the faces I'm seeing standing up, then that was a good one. While you're setting up and while you're having a breather, let me show you. See if your biceps weren't tight. See as you're standing nice and tall, nice and proud. You'll find that most of us have a slight kink in our elbow when we're relaxed. I don't know if you can really see it, but we've all got a slight kink in our elbow. See if our biceps were fully supple, our arms would hang like that, okay? So see if you're hanging your arm down naturally, push your elbow forward, see if it moves like mine is. It's the bicep tightness that's pulling that arm up, okay? So in an ideal world, you know, if we ever get to that, your arm should just hang completely freely. But a lot of us relax and the arm bends slightly, okay? That's the biceps. That's the biceps and that's tightness in the biceps. I'm not trying to make you paranoid, okay? Because I've never been able to achieve my arms just to hang like that and drag my knuckles as I walk. Okay, some might be able to do that naturally, but the point is it's the biceps that are pulling that up and causing that bend in your arm. Happy? Let's go. Change sides. Just to give you a wee bit of knowledge and understanding. If you've got a severe bend in your arm, again, I'm not trying to make you paranoid, but you could probably benefit from doing more of this. If you're walking about flexing your guns all day long, trying to show everybody how big your biceps are, you're probably feeling this pretty uncomfortable. Good. Fantastic. Or if you do, again, a lot of dodgy bicep curls we see, where people use too much weight, that the biceps are no longer strict with the movement, and you start using your shoulders, okay, you start bringing those arms right up, those elbows start flaring forward, you're using crazy amounts of weight on an incorrect bicep curl, just for the sake of trying to lift more weight. Again, you're putting a crazy amount of stress and strain on such a small muscle group. And you often hear of people tearing their biceps, and that's why. A lot of people become obsessed over the bicep curl. It's like the first thing anybody does when they learn how to lift weights or they go to the gym, they pick up a set of dumbbells and start doing bicep curls. Nothing wrong with the bicep curl until we start lifting too much weight and we start turning it from a bicep curl into a bicep and shoulder exercise. Ugh. But you want to build big functional guns, get your pull-ups and chin-ups done, everybody. No better way to load them bad boys up. Teaching yourself functional strength, teaching those biceps to work the way they're meant to, in unison with the upper back muscles, the back of shoulders. They're big pulling muscles. So that's what we refer to as pull muscles, push muscles. Your biceps are a pulling muscle. So if you're pulling a rope, climbing a rope, doing pull-ups, bending your arm, that's the biceps. Such a small muscle group, important job to do. Good. And relax there. Good work. Right, everybody. That'll do there just fine. Okay, as always, it's upper body. There's a hell of a lot more we could do for upper body. Can't possibly do it all. But we spent a bit of time there on the arms and building off what the purpose of Mobility 99 was. Mobility 99 was us working on those big areas, the areas that we get used and abused daily that we've maybe not done in a wee while with the mobility classes, and it was the same with today. Working on all those big muscle groups, okay, and getting you a wee bit of understanding of how to move them better. Thank you very much. Mobility 101 will be coming at you, and we'll do a bit more flexibility work because we'll throw that in as well. Thank you very much. Any questions on live, please fire them at me now, but if you're not, we're done.